What is up, guys? Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm June Lee, a staff writer here at Bleacher Report today. Today on the show, we've got my pal, Bleacher Report creative genius, Jeff Johnson. How's it going, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm back again. I guess I didn't get kicked out the first time, so I'm here with you.
I'm sorry to disappoint you all that Taylor is not here today. You have me in your place, so deal with it. You got to do what you got to do. Golden Globe nominations came out today.
Oh, there's a lot of interesting things to see.
Yeah.
Black Panther got nominated, first Marvel movie to get nominated for a Golden Globe. 3 nominations, that's pretty big. Crazy Rich Asians.
Yo, you got to represent. Crazy Rich Asians, Constance Wu for Best Actress. Let's do this. For Best Comedy, Drama, whatever that weird category is.
Yeah.
Atlanta got snubbed this year. Donald Glover is the only actor on the show who got a nomination. Atlanta's personally my favorite show on television
I like Atlanta. They had the second season was interesting. Like, they went deep. They went like outside the box. They destroyed the box. But
Teddy Perkins is a legend.
Oh my God, that was like. That was a lot. That episode was a lot, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't get anything.
Yeah. Let's pivot. Head over to LeBron, Los Angeles. All the entertainment things that are happening. LeBron, 20 points last night in the fourth quarter, 41 points total. The Lakers, he's starting to come on, but there's been a lot of discussion in the last couple of days talking about his role in the team, developing the young guys, how much of a role he needs to have in holding and possessing the ball on a game-to-game basis. Jeff, what are kind of your thoughts on generally LeBron so far this season in Los Angeles and where you think he's headed?
I mean, well, Bron is Bron, first of all. He's doing the best. Like, he's up there on par with his career averages. But I kind of find it funny that people think that he stunts growth. If you look at the game last night, towards the end, he was making those passes. Lonzo, Kuzma, Josh Hart, they all were contributing in key roles. And when you have one of the greatest of all time watching him and playing alongside of him, it's like you gain that level of greatness through osmosis, and you're learning through experience of watching him and being in those in-game situations.
I think that the biggest thing that we've learned about LeBron James over the last 5 years, especially since he got back to Cleveland, is that he really makes everybody around him better. And that's not necessarily through passing a ton, but it's always putting guys in the right situation. We have a comment from Mark Tan. LeBron being in LA is such a good thing for Lonzo. Having a mentor like LeBron has improved his game so much. And we've seen it so far this season with Lonzo. He looks more assertive at the basket. He's been a better passer for Los Angeles so far this season. I mean, we have to find the balance because LeBron is aging. And so we're starting to get into an interesting...
Is he? I don't know,
you would
man.
assume. You would assume.
LeBron is different. He's like Wolverine, dog. Like, he's never sprained his ankle. I'm sure he's like had bigger injuries where it's like after 5 minutes he just put some tussin on it or something, and then he's back to go. But with Lonzo, it's funny that you say that because the first couple of his first seasons, you see him, he seemed kind of passive or whatever, and he was learning the game. But LeBron is like that big brother that you have when you getting picked on and the big brother comes around and all of a sudden you got all the confidence in the world. You get that confidence as a younger player to play your game and to elevate your game because you have to, because LeBron is there. He makes you better and you are able to display parts of your game that no one's seen before and actually be better.
Right, and he did that a lot in Cleveland. You saw that with how Kyrie Irving developed over the course of his tenure with the Cavaliers, but he also knows when to kind of take his foot off the ignition. He knew when to let Kyrie take over. And that's something we haven't seen in Los Angeles yet because I don't know if the guys there are ready to take over a game like Kyrie did. These guys are still young. They're still in their, most of the interesting young guys are in their second year. You have Ingram, you have Kuzma, you have Lonzo, obviously, Josh Hart. A lot of really interesting young guys in Los Angeles right now. Comments from the Instagram section. Diddy83 says, do you think there will be a roster changes for the Lakers this season?
You know what? I don't think they'll be major unless something falls in Magic's lap that
unless Anthony Davis suddenly just falls into
offer
the lap.
You can't refuse aside. It's probably going to be minor because this is like the red shirt year for the Lakers where they're going to develop their talent and still be probably a top 4 seed.
It's like the freshman year of college.
Right.
You're trying to figure out your bearings, trying to figure out where your place in society is.
Right.
And for the Lakers, these young guys are trying to figure out how to play alongside LeBron James.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just such an interesting situation because you have these, prospects, I guess, in Los Angeles of varying degrees of ability and skill, and so how they kind of develop alongside LeBron is going to be very, very interesting. One of my favorite teams so far in the early part of this NBA season has been the Denver Nuggets, and they've had such a great run so far. They've had a lot of signature wins, beating the Celtics earlier this year. Jamal Murray had that crazy 48-point game. They beat the Raptors a couple nights ago. I've been really impressed by kind of the depth of their roster and how we've seen guys like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray begin to take that next step towards, even greater success in the Western Conference.
Yeah, man. It's like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right? With Murray, Jokic, and Millsap, which is underrated to me.
Millsap is one of the most underrated guys in the NBA.
Period. And he brings that veteran leadership, and you need that vet that's a solid vet, that's a great player, that can be. It's almost like, not to call him a glue guy, but he's providing that stabilization for this young team, similar to LeBron, to do what they wanted, to do what they can do, and they're just playing out of their minds right now.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went out to Denver a couple of weeks ago. I have a piece coming out on BR Mag tomorrow on Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets. That team is really confident. They are the youngest team in the NBA. They're averaging about 24.3 years total for the average age on the roster. Murray wants to be that guy. I know there's kind of this gap in vocal leadership on that team. A lot of the local media and a lot of the kind of the national buzz around them has surrounded this kind of gap because Nikola Jokic isn't kind of the traditionally assertive, most talented guy on the roster. He creates, lots of shots for other guys, but he's not a guy that you turn to in the fourth quarter when you need a point, Jamal Murray wants to be that guy for the Denver Nuggets. He has the attitude. He's kind of a troll in the best way in that he pisses off a lot of his enemies. He's pissed off the Lakers multiple times over the last couple of years. He obviously pissed off Kyrie and the Boston Celtics during their win over them. It's a really interesting young team. There's a lot of young guys on that roster who are kind of emerging. Monte Morris, one NBA scout told me he's one of the most underrated all-around kind of point guards in the NBA. Malik Beasley is a super athletic guy. And Juancho Hernangomez, he missed all of last season due to illness, and he's coming back this year. He's hitting a lot of threes. They have a lot of depth, and Will Barton and Isaiah Thomas aren't back yet, which is crazy.
I got something even scarier for you. I forgot they had Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
I forgot they had Michael Porter Jr. Imagine if he's a fraction, 50% of what we thought he was going to be, projected #1 pick before the back injury. He has time to heal and to fully recover. And if he's anything like what we thought he was going to be, it's going to be a scary sight.
It's a super exciting young roster with a lot of potential. We head to the comment section. Serrano Julio C says, Denver looks like the Hawks pre-blow-up. That's a pretty good take. They're really solid all around. I think the Nuggets kind of have a little bit more star potential. Jokic is better than anybody that was on those Hawks teams. Then the Mexican Arab says, will the Mavs make a blockbuster trade this year since there's no pick next year?
Why?
Yeah,
why?
I mean,
you got Luka. You don't need to make a trade. That doesn't sound like Mark Cuban Shark Tank-esque business sense, right? Like, there's no reason for the Mavs to do anything but pay Dirk, let Dirk have his farewell, develop Luka. You got Dennis Smith. Like, relax.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
you
relax.
have Luka Doncic. He is already a star in the NBA. He's one of the most fun players to watch on a night-to-night basis because you have no idea what he's going to do. He's just so creative, and he plays the game in a way that's kind of unlike anybody else in the modern NBA. He's not the most athletic guy, but he's so smart, always has the right pass, and he's deceptively a much better shooter than was kind of his reputation coming into this season. Iron Miner Slabakias, do you think the Warriors are going to get better with DeMarcus Cousins? I feel like that's asking if chocolate is good or if pizza is good.
It's like, do you want the Maserati with the sunroof, without the sunroof, with the heated seats? Like, it's still a Maserati.
Right.
Like, there's no way you get worse adding somebody like DeMarcus Cousins because Kerr and his staff are going to shape the offense where he's going to come in. And even before then, he wanted to take more threes. He wanted to be more of an outside shooter. So now imagine you got Boogie taking threes and then they have at least 4 or 5 people who can take over at any given moment. He has that luxury to come back slowly and really find his way in the offense. And I think in the playoffs is where he's going to be the most dangerous because he's probably going to come off the bench.
Right.
Boogie Cousins coming off the bench, that's like U.S. Olympic dream team caliber.
You've just got one of the most talented guys in the NBA potentially coming off your bench. And that's scary because the Warriors don't even need DeMarcus Cousins to win the NBA championship. They don't need him at all. This is all cherry icing on the top, trying to get him paid next year when he's healthy. I think people are also kind of forgetting how good DeMarcus Cousins is. Like,
Yeah, they're
DeMarcus
sleeping.
Cousins is one of the most talented guys in the NBA, and a lot of people, it's easy to forget how good guys are. And one of those guys that has happened, was injured a lot last year. People kind of forgot how good he was. Kawhi Leonard. He has been incredible since coming to Toronto. Has just been kind of the assertive #1 guy that they haven't really had. No shots to DeMar DeRozan, but Kawhi Leonard is kind of on a different level as a basketball player. He's a top 5 guy. He's one of the best two-way players in the league. What have you kind of seen out of Kawhi so far this year?
I've seen a resurgence, a return to form. Like, this is a dude who he's still high-level elite defender. His game, where it may not be flashy, you're not going to get NBA 2K, my player mode level of flash
This
and
is a New
flair
Balance
from him.
guy,
This
we're
is like, I
talking
mean,
about.
this is New Balance era Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? And this is who he's always been, the stoic, nice basketball player. And this dude, it's incredible how underrated I think he is still. Where he gets all of the accolades, but just because he's not as outspoken, you kind of sleep on him. And then with the whole being in Toronto, where it's like, unless you guys go to the finals, we're waiting and seeing.
Right.
Even if they blew it up, Toronto's been one of those teams that's been at the doorstep but hasn't been able to take that next level. Bron was like their biggest albatross.
He was their
that they had.
kryptonite.
He was their kryptonite.
He was like Thanos
so
with the
now,
Infinity Gauntlet.
Kawhi could be the one to get them over the hump and break all those stigmas.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi has just been so good for Toronto this year. He's always kind of been underrated because he played in San Antonio, and people like to put a lot of points onto Greg Popovich's system. And obviously, Pop is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But Kawhi Leonard is going to be one of the greatest basketball players of his generation. And because he plays in Toronto, because he plays in Canada now, I still think people are sleeping on him a little too much. If he was playing for the Knicks, the Celtics, the Lakers,
yeah.
I think the perception around him would be completely different.
Well, I'll say this. One, the Greg Popovich angle that you brought up, that's the same thing that they would talk about with LeBron and all of that. And it's funny that I feel like Pop is almost like with college, how the college coaches get more shine than the actual players.
Yeah.
It happens just because Pop is just so great and they've been running that system. But Kawhi is taking that leadership role. And even being in Toronto, I think a decade ago, that was a problem because it's like Toronto is like, that's up there, that's Canada, that's not even the U.S. But now they're integrated into pop culture because of Drake, the Drake connection, the whole Toronto area, and just with communication technology, it's easier. They're on national TV. We see the games. So with all of that, it's the perfect storm and the time for the Six to get to where they need to.
Toronto, just as a city, is super underrated. Awesome city if you ever get the chance. Everyone kind of dumps on Toronto because it's in Canada and it's cold, but I like to call it
45 minutes away from us.
I like to call it a cleaner, smaller New York City. I just absolutely love Toronto. GZ Ray in the comment section says Raptors and Warriors final, Warriors in 6. I still think the Boston Celtics are going to make it. I say this as a Boston Celtics fan and as a Boston homer, but I think the Celtics are going to figure out a way to put things together. Brad Stevens, there's too much talent there. The Raptors look better than they did last year. I mean, it is impossible to deny that Kawhi Leonard is an upgrade.
Right, as of right now, they're the best team record-wise in the league.
Right.
So,
hey, but the Denver Nuggets beat them the other night.
that's true. That's also true.
It's
But I'm
true.
just saying, record-wise, I believe they're
It is
right
the
now.
Eastern Conference. So
Well, let's not put any stigmas on the Eastern Conference either. The Eastern Conference is back. In my Kenny the Jet Smith voice, the Eastern Conference is back. Like that drop off that you saw before with the integration of the talent. Jimmy Butler came over, Kawhi came over. Like, the East is back. Like, it's not that disparity isn't as the chasm isn't as wide. Maybe it's like 70-30 now, but that 30% is giving the West work.
right. One final question from the comment section. Robert Nove28 asks us, who's the MVP so far this season? I go with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has been an incredible player for the 76ers so far, and he is unlike any other guy I think we've ever seen in the NBA, combining his athleticism, combining his height, and just the fun factor. That guy brings it on a nightly basis and makes the NBA the reality show that we all love to watch.
Yeah, I would say for me, this is right now, like 20-something games in, it's one of the tightest races that I've seen in a minute. You could go with Joel, you could go with the Greek Freak, you can always go. You can never fail going with Bron.
Right.
I think right now mine is Kawhi. I don't know if it's a hot take or whatever, but I'll say Kawhi. Like if they get the #1 seed and they win 55 plus games, I think there's no way you can deny that it's Kawhi because he's been that leader. He's been the main difference as to why that team has a whole different feel. I will have a caveat and say, if there's any chance that the Lakers get a top 2 seed and you don't have Bron as the MVP, I don't know what to say at this point.
Well, that is it for today's show, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to follow BR on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at June. You can follow Jeff at
Jeff J Says. And one quick thing, BR out here on IG stories. We're going to be Titans and Jaguars. If you're in the New York City area, we're going to St. Pat's Bar and Grill on 46 and 6. Come through, check it out. We're playing games. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff, and you could be on our IG stories. So come through, check it out.
So until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one.